All right, welcome to this class on algebraic expression, and we will be taking some past questions on YAIC when it has to do with algebraic expression. And the first question we have here is one of the factors of mn minus nq minus n raised to power 2 plus mq is, we are told that one of the factors is m minus n, and the other factor is, so we are asked to find these other factors. And as I said, it's a YA class question, so I want you to pause the video, try to solve it so we can compare our answers together. So pause the video, go ahead and try it. Okay, so I want to believe that you've paused the video and you've tried it, so we can now take solution. So let's take solution. And taking solution of this, what we are going to do will be for us to arrange. Let's have the expression again. So the expression is mn minus nq minus n raised to the power of 2 plus mq. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do will be for us to, okay, let's collect like terms. So the first thing we say, collect like terms. Collect like terms. So just as a reminder. And okay, so if we're collecting like terms right now, what we're gonna do, the first, let's start with this. So the mn, we're gonna have mn first. When we have mn, the next one we're gonna have will be n raised to the power of 2. So we say minus n raised to the power of 2. And when we have n raised to the power of 2, the next one we're gonna have will be plus mq. When we have plus mq, the next one we're gonna have, after mq, the next one we're gonna have will be minus nq. So we've been able to collect like terms, and we are going to go ahead to factorize. So we're going to do, and let's look at this. To factorize, start with this. Let's group them first. I will allow us to group it so we know what we are doing. Okay, so let's group it like this. All right, so we can start our factorization. Okay, now, okay, let's look at this. What's the common term here? Common term in this first bracket is what? Is n. So n will be out, and then of course n comes into mn. How many times? That is, only m is left. We are done with that. And then minus n comes into n squared. Is how many times? Is n times. And then we're done with that one. All right, so we move to the next bracket. Moving into the next bracket, we look for what is common, and what is common is what? What is common is q, right? So bring it down, plus q. Let's have a plus q here, and we go ahead to factorize. So q comes into this mq. How many times? Is m time. And then q comes into this nq. Is how many times? Is n time. All right, looking at this now, the next thing we're going to do will be for us to look for the factors. These factors that are outside, we group them, and the ones that are inside, we're going to group them. So that's n and plus q. So we have the first bracket is going to be n. First factor is going to be n plus q. And then, of course, the bracket, next one is going to be what we have here. So we open the next bracket. Among these two brackets, we pick one. So pick one to write, m minus n. And we've seen that in the equation that we were given the first factor, m minus n, in which we are having here also as m minus n. So meaning that the factor that we were asked to find is what we've gotten here as n plus q. So if you come to our option, you see that n plus q is option C. Option C. So that is the correct option. Okay, so if you had that n plus q as your answer, then you are very, very correct. If you didn't, so this is solving. So the question, as a revision, the question, this was a question, and we were asked to find the other factor. So what we simply did was for us to collect like terms by rearranging, and we had mn minus n raised to power 2 plus mq minus 1. We group them by separating them, and we look for the common term in the first bracket. The common term we realized here was n. We pull out n. I will now say n comes into mn is m times. N comes into n raised to power 2 is n. We looked at the next bracket. The common term here is q. We pull out q, and we said q comes into mq is how many times? Is m times. Q also comes into nq is how many times? N time. So the last thing we needed to do was for us to group those factors we used that were outside the bracket. We grouped them together. That was n and q. The q here had a plus sign, so it came with this plus sign here, and that gave us the first factor. The next factor will be out of these two, since they are the same, we pull out one, and that was n minus n. We realized that n minus n was given first here, so what we were asked to find happened to be n plus q, and n plus q happened to be option C. So if you had that, you are very, very correct. So that will be the end of this class. See you in the next class.